Hey everybody, Roger Levin here with your general practice production pearl of the week. I'm going to start working with you on a series called Secrets of the Top 10%. Some of you may know that Levin Group has the only 31-year study of top 10% producing practices. And when we first started looking at these practices to understand how and why they arrived at the top 10%, over time, we were able to identify 17 principles that these top practices have in common. Whether you want to be in the top 10%, 20%, 30%, you don't want to be in the bottom 50%. It's a lot harder there to have a great practice. There's a lot more stress. There's staff turnover and change. There's chaos, and you work much longer. So my goal is to help you avoid all of that, and you can. So one principle we found of the 17 principles that the top 10% practices seem to have in common is build a world-class team. Now, how did these doctors build a world-class team? Were they better at HR than the rest of us? Were they more insightful, more intuitive? Did they interview better? And the answer over time became no, none of the above. In fact, in the early days of their practice, the first years, could have been 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, they had the same level of turnover that the average practice has. We've looked at all these things over time. And what we found was that if these doctors did not have the tolerance to maintain poor performing team members. Now, you know, I'm a big fan of the team. When we do consulting, everybody gets an equal opportunity, but I'm not a fan of team members that are holding you back. So what you can do is begin to look at your team and ask, how do I make them a world-class team? The top practices simply kept turning over team members, often by their choice, until, often by accident, they built a great team. They just simply could not tolerate poor performance. Well, if you want to build a great team, you have to start by identifying a simple 3-step method. If somebody is underperforming, and I mean really underperforming, then that person needs to be identified. And when you identify them, they should get a fair chance. You meet with them, but it's not a conversation. It's not a discussion for the first part. It is you telling a team member what you see, what you feel, and what you want the situation to become. Now, many people will challenge you. Well, give me an example. We hear all the time. Don't get into that trap. This is not a back and forth. This is not a discussion. You are letting a team member know with leadership integrity, leadership transparency, things are just not where we'd like them to be. You meet with that person, and then you give them guidance on how to improve. You do it a second time as well if necessary. But by the third time, this is not going to work, or make a conscious decision, I will accept poor performance in my practice. So if you want to build a world-class team, you've got to have leadership integrity, leadership transparency, and do it now. I've had so many clients in the last 41 years. We've worked with over 30,000 doctors in management consulting in the last 41 years. I'm sorry, 41 years. I'm making myself younger. We've worked with so many doctors and practices that have said to me when they waited 1, 2, 3 years to release a team member, I wish I had done this sooner. Don't wish, get going, treat your team well. I hope everybody gets to stay, but don't let anybody hold you back. As always, I wish you increased practice production and profit every year. You can do that, and I'll see you next week.